what's happened in all the Gulf Coast, but particularly in New Orleans, where I've spent a huge amount of time, is heartbreaking. And it's really a national embarrassment. It says so much about the quality of the American people, the way the American people responded to this horrible situation in New Orleans, as opposed to the ineptitude of the government. And I've been to New Orleans many times. In fact, I went to New Orleans, not New Orleans, but to Baton Rouge, right after the storm hit. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. I'm walking through the evacuation center, and I came on this fellow. He was sort of in his 40s, I'd say, short, stocky, strong looking. And I asked him how he was doing, and he said, well, he was doing okay. He said, but he lived in the 9th Ward of New Orleans, and when the storm came, he lost his house. And the place he worked for 20-some-odd years was underwater. And so as a result, he had also lost his job. And he said he was sleeping on a sleeping bag on the concrete floor just a few feet from where we were standing. And he said, but you know, when I got here, they told me that if you go outside in the morning at 5 o'clock, sometimes people will come by in pickup trucks and pick you up and put you to work. And he said, I've been here about a week and a half, and I've been out there every morning at 5 o'clock. And he said, they hadn't picked me up yet, but they will. That man is what America is supposed to be about. Somebody like that who works hard, takes responsibility, wants to do everything they can. And if this country, if our country, this country that we all love so much, if we can't be there for a man like that, what good are we? What good is the government if it can't be there for people who are absolute innocent victims? And that's what we've seen in New Orleans. You know, my own view is we don't need a surge in Baghdad, we need a surge in New Orleans. We need to get help to the people who've been hurt. And I think we have enormous work to do in New Orleans, enormous work to do. I have to tell you, I had a personal experience. I want to say this since I know we have a lot of young people in this audience. A year or so ago, I took 700 college kids who gave up their spring break to go to New Orleans to work to rehab houses. In other words, instead of going to the beach and having fun with their friends and partying with their friends, they went with me to work in these hot, dirty, nasty conditions. I know, I was there doing it. I'm 54 now. I had trouble keeping up with them. But it was amazing and inspirational for me to see what these young people did. I mean, giving up part of their lives to go down and help their fellow Americans. Don't tell me that young people don't care about their country. Don't tell me that they're apathetic and cynical. We could have taken 3,000 or 4,000. We just had nowhere to put them. They were absolutely volunteering, wanting to go help. I mean, to me, it says something about not only the character of America, it actually says something about the character of our young people, that they were willing to do that. There are several things we need to be doing in New Orleans. First of all, we've got to make New Orleans safe again. It's not secure. The crime rate's up. There are about 500 police officers short. The federal government should actually help fund 500 more police officers for New Orleans. The levees need to be rebuilt in a way that keeps the people of New Orleans safe and secure. And people can't come back if they don't have something to do. They need a job. And instead of giving these jobs to big multinational corporations who are shipping people in to do the work, my view is we ought to have 50,000 what I would describe as stepping stone jobs so that the people of New Orleans can actually rebuild their own city. We also have to rebuild the infrastructure of New Orleans. Hospitals, schools, huge problems with schools being reopened, hospitals being reopened. I mean, people can't come home if their kids don't have a place to go to school, and they can't come home if something happens to somebody in their family if there's no hospital to go to get the health care that they need. So all these things need to be done in combination to rebuild the city of New Orleans. I will have a high-level person in the White House who reports to me every day on what they did in New Orleans yesterday. You know, plans are fine. I want to know what they did yesterday. And one other idea, something that I call Brownie's Law, and it's a very simple concept. The concept is if you're going to be in charge of a major agency of the United States government, you actually have to be competent and capable of doing the job, and you have to have some experience in what you're doing.